Hey guys, it's Sarah. Since I've been away for 2 weeks, I figured why not do 2 videos in one day. It's kind of a continuation of my cruise video in a way, but I wanted to kind of make this topic a separate video because I felt like I needed to kind of give it its own thing. What I wanted to talk about was body image, not just mine, but also other people's, and how this vacation kind of opened my eyes a little bit, I guess, on my body and other people's bodies and how we look at and relate to our bodies and other people and judging people's bodies and all that. I was on vacation. I was on a cruise. I saw people in their bathing suits every day. I saw people dressing up for Halloween. I saw people dressing in formal clothing, all that sort of stuff. And I had to do those things too. So you guys, if you saw my video from a couple of Fridays ago, you saw that I did indeed wear my tankini. And I have to report that I also wore it the day that we were in the Dominican Republic at a resort. There were tons of people around. I wore it on the beach. I wore it around the pool. I wore it without the straps too. I was like totally had the strapless going on. No one vomited when they saw me. And after a while, I pretty much forgot that my arms weren't covered up. So that was a win. That was a victory for me because it's something I'm super, super self-conscious about, and I have to thank everyone. I posted photos on Facebook of me in the bathing suit, and I have to thank everyone who commented, and yeah, that was awesome. So anyway, I obviously have body image issues. I obviously have a lot of insecurities about my body, and I know that not everyone does. And I know that there are lots of people who do that have amazing, what other people would consider to be amazing bodies. I don't usually pay that much attention, like unless someone is really wearing something, inappropriately like short or tight or revealing where it's like you can't help but notice, or, a really revealing swimsuit or whatever. I don't normally really pay attention. But for some reason on this trip, and I don't know if it's because I'm more aware of my own body, but I found myself like watching and really looking at people and what they were wearing and the choices that they made for their bodies. And it kind of made me uncomfortable in a way because I don't like to think of myself as a person who's really focused on people's appearance. But I found myself judging, which sounds terrible, but I don't know that it was necessarily negative judgment. I don't know if there's a positive kind of judgment, but I don't know. I'm probably just trying to make myself sound like less of a douche because I was totally that person that was like, "Ooh, girl, I can't believe you're wearing that." But I saw people, and it brought me back to experiences I've had. And partly, I honestly think it's a cultural thing. I think there are certain cultures in which showing your body is, just the way it is, and no one cares. So you've got like South Americans, Brazilians who, generally are on the beach with no top and very little bottoms. You've got French, Italians, Europeans, same thing. And then I think as North Americans, we're like quite prudish a lot of the times when it comes to like swimwear and that sort of thing. And so there were some Europeans on our cruise, and definitely at the resort that we went to, and, they were wearing things that I found for their bodies, okay, and the American sensibility, I don't know. I was kind of surprised, and it's not that I feel like someone who is bigger shouldn't wear, a bikini or whatever it is, but I was just surprised that they were comfortable enough with themselves, I guess, to wear something like that, and it was kind of empowering for me, and I respected that. Like, there was a woman who honestly was, I think she might have been German, but I'm not 100% sure, but she was walking on the walking track. So first of all, big ups to you, because I didn't even do that once. And she was like power walking in a bikini, and not like a sports bikini, but literally like a triangle string bikini. And she was probably at least a size 16. She was tall. She was probably as tall as I am. And she was maybe a little bit smaller than me. I mean, her body, she did not have like excess skin or rolls exactly. But she definitely didn't have like what I think most people would consider a bikini body. But she was out there in her bikini walking, having a good time. And I mean, it struck me, like I was looking at her and there was this whole inner monologue going on in my mind, like, oh my God, am I being like a judgy person by looking at her? Like, but I don't think that I was. I think I was more impressed than anything that she was comfortable enough with herself to wear that, because it's not like there was anything wrong with her body. And I feel like I'm kind of like falling into that thing where I say, well, like, you should love your body no matter what, but don't wear a bikini if you're fat. Like, I don't know. I know that there's probably no circumstance in this world that I would ever wear a two-piece bathing suit. No matter how much plastic surgery I have, no matter what. And that's probably because I have a problem. I don't think that that's something that other people should take on. I think that's just my own hangups. But yeah, I definitely found myself like watching people, like Halloween. There were a lot of skimpy Halloween costumes, like a lot. And I would say I noticed on this cruise that there were a lot of overweight people, just in general. But I also saw a few girls that were in no way overweight that had sort of strangely shaped bodies that still wore whatever they wanted. And I thought, it just kind of went to show, you know, there was a girl who honestly looked like a supermodel. Like, she was like 5'11", 6 feet tall, thin, like probably a size 8, maybe a 6. But she had like very big hips. And when she was wearing her bikini, because it was like a hipster sort of bikini, it actually looked really odd. But again, it was not like there's anything wrong with her body. It's just, to me, I was like, oh, look at this girl. Everyone would say she has an amazing body, but there's still stuff that I'm sure when she sees herself, she realizes that too, right? And it just made me think so deeply. I'm still kind of processing it now about how we think about our own bodies versus what other people think. And does it really matter what other people think? Do I want to associate with people who would judge me based on my body? You know, can I get over the hangups that I have? Because, you know, I've seen 70-year-old women in bikinis and they got some pretty loose skin. I'm just saying. I mean, I've seen some crazy bat wings that are not the result of weight loss surgery. Like, maybe I'm just overly critical about myself, and maybe I just need to let it go and do what I want and say F everyone. Because in pretty much every other aspect of my life, my attitude is F everyone. Like, yeah, I want people to like me, of course. But I'm not willing to sell myself out for them to like me. I'm not willing to pretend to be someone I'm not for them to like me. I'm not willing to hide who I am for the approval of others in any other way other than physically. And I think that's what finally kind of sunk in to my brain was, oh God. Sorry, I'm not going to start because no drinking for you if you're playing the LessOfSarah drinking game. I realized in every other aspect of my life, I would never, ever hide myself to please someone else or to not offend them. But for some reason, I think it's okay to hide myself physically to not offend someone else. Because in the end, the reason why I'm uncomfortable with showing my arms or showing my body is because I think that it's not attractive. And I'm the one that has to look at it. So clearly it's not just about me. It is about other people and what they're thinking. And maybe it doesn't matter, you know? They can look away. They don't have to look at me. They don't. They can look elsewhere. And I really think that I just need to put on my big girl panties and start living my life, doing the activities, doing whatever I want, dressing the way I want, and not giving an F what anyone thinks. And really embracing that. Embracing that in this part of my life that I have always, always been a slave to other people's thoughts about. Not to get like extremely deep or anything, but I honestly believe it goes back to being a kid. And basically getting the message, especially from my grandparents. And again, I love them and they were wonderful, but the message was pretty much, you aren't good enough because you're fat. My parents, less so, but because my grandparents lived with us and sort of raised me as well, that was an everyday thing. Boys aren't going to like you if you're fat. You're not going to get a good job if you're fat. You aren't good enough because you're fat. And when you hear that every day, you believe it. And so, but the messages that I got about other things were like, you can do whatever you want, you're smart, you're talented. And so I believed those messages. And then I believed the other negative messages too. And so in every other part of my life, I believed I could do whatever I wanted. I believed that people's opinion didn't matter and that I could change their minds. In everything but being overweight and everything but my appearance. So I just think it was like, there wasn't one moment, but that whole experience was like an epiphany where I realized that I don't have to hide myself for other people anymore. I never had to. I just did because I thought it was what I should do. But I think I disassociated myself from my body for a very long time. I mean, I knew it was there. I knew what it looked like, but I didn't think of it as part of myself. And now I realize that it is. It's a part of me and I need to own it and love it and take care of it and show it off and be proud of it and be proud of what I've accomplished, but understand that it's part of me, but it's not all of me. And there are so many things about me that have nothing to do with how I look, or how small I am, or how many rolls I have, or how low my bat wings hang. And that I have so much more to offer the world than just my outward appearance. And if people don't like it, they don't have to look at it. I need to learn to be comfortable with who I am. And not just comfortable with who I am, but learn to be proud of who I am and everything that I've done to get to where I am. Not because of how I look, but because of how I've changed my life for the better. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Body image. The one thing I will say is that as an update, I talked a lot in videos in the past few months about not recognizing myself and not understanding what size I am compared to other people and all of that. And I really, really think that in the last little while, I think it's actually because my weight loss has slowed down that I feel like I get it. Like I don't pass by a mirror or a window and look at myself and not know who it is, or don't see a picture and not know who it is. I still am often struck by the fact that it's me, but I get that it's me. And so I feel like I'm now starting to accept what I look like and who I am, and now the next step is to learn to love it. So I hope you guys had a great 2 weeks. I am looking forward to doing my Friday update tomorrow and catching up on more of your videos. So until then, remember, it's not just about what you've lost, it's about what you've gained. Have a great day.